We're here with Nick Holmes from Paradise Lost, who are headlining Inferno tonight. Welcome to town.
Hello.
So Inferno's it's your first time appearing at Inferno, and it's in the past kind of had a name for, I suppose in the beginning, being a black metal festival, and it's kind of it's an indicator, I think, that
it still is a black metal festival, isn't it?
Especially tonight, maybe. Well, no, not as much actually. But I think they're trying to diversify a bit, and the fact that the Paradise Lost are headlining tonight, it's kind of shows how things have changed in the last 10 years from Host to In Requiem. So, do you think it's going to be anything different between your approach tonight and a regular show?
In fact, we're using our new drummer for the first time.
Adrian Erlandson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beyond that, hopefully not. You know, that means it'll go smoothly.
Yeah, smoothly. Yeah, well, we hope so anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about playing heavier songs, but I mean, we're not a black metal band, so it can only get so heavy, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think anyway, if you're talking about playing heavier songs, the last couple of albums have been, I think, been hailed by a lot of people as being not necessarily a return to your roots as such, but just it's become heavier, but incorporated the latest stuff as well. So with something like In Requiem, which was your first album for Central Media, have you noticed a change in the work of the label as opposed to before?
Yeah, as in respect that if you make a more of a metal album, then it's instantly easier for a metal label to market it. If you make a metal album, or that isn't metal, and you're aiming at a different sort of people, and you're working with people that don't know how to market it, then you're going to find problems. And I think it's the same when all bands sign to major labels. A lot of times there's people there that don't really know where to market it, but obviously very much like Music for Nations was for us years ago. It was dedicated to that style of music, and therefore very, very good at marketing it and dealing with it, you know.
Yeah, so I suppose what you're saying is that the deal with EMI, it was, in hindsight, do you think it was a bad move?
I don't know really. I mean, we had a pretty good time on EMI. I mean, we had plenty of drinks and things, but I don't know really. It's hard to say, because I mean, our music changed so much anyway, so you can't necessarily, you know, switch. Change, everything was so kind of dramatic. It would be hard for any label to deal with, I think. It was so hard for us to deal with. So I don't know really. It's hard to say, but I definitely think, obviously, you know, since Marine is a dedicated metal label, and they're superb at dealing with metal. So, you know, I mean, they can give you ideas for whatever, and 9 times out of 10 you will agree with what they say. You know, whereas maybe some other people say, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You know.
And I wondered, you hear about bands who signed to major labels through time, especially metal bands.
It never works.
It never works. No, it doesn't seem so. And a lot of times they mention the fact that
nobody learns either. They still do it.
Well, that's part of being metal, isn't it? I suppose.
We saw better having the bands, and we didn't learn either. We still did it. But they say they offer you nice carrots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you did it for, like, you know, for the free drinks and the chocolates. And
yeah. Basically.
Okay. Right. Was it the case that the personnel at that label were changing more frequently than at a smaller label? Because that's one thing that's been mentioned many times in the past, that you don't really get to establish much of a relationship on a personal level.
Yeah, and also I think, you know, a lot of the time on Central Media, for example, there's people there that are actually in the music that they're representing as well, you know, whereas perhaps on a major there's just somebody who just happens to be given this band to work with, and it's not necessarily his chosen style of music. But we've met a lot of nice people that are not in our genre of music. Yeah. But ultimately, if you're dealing with it, it helps. Yeah. If someone understands what they're dealing with, you know.
Do you think an album like Host could have? Do you think Music for Nations could have handled it well?
No, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, it was more than 10 years ago now. So it's hard. We still. I was just saying today, we still talk about it all the time, and it was so long ago. But I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think it's a bit of a lost classic, you know. So it was always.
Well, I still think it's a good album, you know. I absolutely don't shy away from. I mean, I think it's a great record, but it's not a metal album. That's the whole
not.
thing. You know.
And of course, you know, if you have a metal fan base, they can be not the most broad-minded people sometimes. So it is.
Well, I'm included in that. I mean, especially when I was younger, I hated anything that didn't have guitar. So.
But now, especially the last 3 albums, from Symbol of Life and Chase the Gun, things have become steadily kind of. It looks like your profile has risen quite a lot, and you're still one of the few bands around from, you know, let's say like the early to mid '90s boom, that are able to tour quite successfully, and include places like Scandinavia and also America. You've done 2 American tours since 2003 with Opeth and then Nightwish. previous to that, I'd been like just one tour in '93.
Done your homework, haven't you?
I've been studying for a while. Yeah. I'm getting bashful now. Yeah. Was that something conscious for you to go for the American market? I mean, obviously, because I heard you say before that the experience in '93 wasn't the most pleasant.
No, well, I mean, it wasn't, because we weren't used to going away from home for that long. And going to America is I mean, you know, they might speak English, but you feel far away from home if you're not used to going there. And I mean, now, ironically, now it's great. I love going to America. I actually love visiting there. But at that time, we were quite young, and we kind of didn't really understand how things worked. And plus, we were all like very vegetarian. And that no one had even heard of that in America at that time, and you couldn't eat anything, so therefore you were in a shitty mood constantly.
So that tour, I mean, if I remember correctly as well, you did that tour, and the show that you filmed in the Longhorn Stuttgart, was that directly after that tour, more or less?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember. I just lost lots of weight. That's all I remember.
Oh, it suits you. It suited you then.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. So now you put out a long form DVD through Central Media again, which is I suppose it's similar to the one the name's escape my mind, Evolve.
Yeah.
And is that to indicate that it's a chapter is closed and there's another one?
It was like 20 years, so it was good enough time as any to do it really. And you know, we were sort of around the time of the new album sort of coming out, the new studio album. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, live albums, if they're good albums, they're always worth releasing if you've got some good material to release, you know, to keep things going over till you know, you do another studio album. You know, you just got to keep going. You got to keep pumping it out. You know?
Yeah, and you've just completed a new album, right?
Yeah.
In Sweden, so you had a Swedish session drummer in that. You've got a new Swedish drummer now.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in that. I don't know. But so you're
some good drummers in Sweden.
Yeah, there must be. Yeah.